You trust your morning coffee. You trust your pills. You trust that little vitamin you've taken for years. But what if I told you they may be the reason you're wide awake at 2 a.m.? Eleanor is 68, a retired teacher in Seattle. Her mornings are sacred. A warm Starbucks latte, a crossword puzzle, the hum of a new day. But at night, she stares at the ceiling, heart pounding, thoughts racing. I used to sleep like a log, she told me. Now I just wait for morning. For years, Eleanor did everything right. A vitamin D pill after dinner, a blood pressure med before bed, a splash of decaf in her chamomile tea. But her sleep kept unraveling, and she's not alone. Half of all seniors over 65 report trouble sleeping, but few ever consider, could it be the coffee after lunch, the vitamin at night, the medication just before bed? I'm Dr. Kenji. After 40 years in medicine between Kyoto and Boston, I've seen this again and again. Sleep doesn't just fade with age. It falters when our rhythms are disrupted. In today's episode of the Longevity Tales, we'll gently uncover the hidden habits that may be stealing your sleep. Caffeine, medications, even those trusted vitamins, and how to reclaim the peace your nights deserve. Because at this stage of life, you don't need more stimulation. You need stillness. You need rhythm. And you deserve a sleep that carries you, softly, surely, until morning light. You might think that sleep should come more easily after retirement. Fewer alarms, no long commutes, no late-night emails. But for many, sleep after 60 becomes a nightly battle, not a peaceful escape. And it's not just in your head. After age 60, the biology of sleep changes. The brain produces less melatonin, the hormone that cues your body it's time to sleep. The natural circadian rhythm, once sharp and steady like a conductor's baton, becomes softer, sometimes confused. You may feel sleepy earlier in the evening, but then find yourself wide awake at 3 a.m., staring into the quiet. On top of that, the sleep itself becomes lighter. Instead of long stretches of deep, restorative rest, older adults experience more awakenings during the night, sometimes because of joint pain, sometimes because of bladder urges, sometimes for no reason at all. Let me tell you about Tom. He's 72, a retired high school coach in Texas. Strong, independent, always early to rise. But lately, he's been waking at 4 a.m. long before sunrise. I don't feel rested, he says. I just feel done. For a while, he thought it was just part of aging. But when we reviewed his routine, one detail stood out. He was taking his heart medication at 8 p.m. The timing was subtly pushing his blood pressure too low during the night, triggering wake-ups that felt like restlessness. Then there's Susan, 70, from Florida, a retired nurse, careful with her habits. She takes her vitamin D and B6 daily, always after dinner. But lately, she's found it harder to fall asleep, often lying in bed for over an hour. What she didn't realize is that certain vitamins, especially when taken late, can stimulate the nervous system or increase nighttime urination. Her good habits weren't wrong, they were just misplaced. The science supports what these stories reveal. The science supports what these stories reveal. A 2022 study from UC Berkeley showed that fragmented sleep in older adults led to a 25% reduction in cognitive function, affecting memory, focus, and even emotional regulation. And according to the NIH, 2023, poor sleep increases the risk of falls by 15% and depression by 20%, two things that silently erode quality of life in seniors. What's more, common health issues like noxuria, arthritis, acid reflux, or anxiety can interrupt sleep without ever waking you fully. You may not remember stirring 5 times a night, but your brain does. And over time, these micro-awakenings accumulate, leaving you foggy in the morning, unsteady on your feet, or emotionally drained. It's not about blaming age. It's about understanding the rhythm of aging so we can adapt with grace. Your body isn't broken, it's asking for a different kind of care, one that honors these shifts and helps rebuild the patterns that once came naturally. Because sleep after 60 isn't about perfection, it's about protection. And it begins with awareness. Sometimes the things that seem safest are the very things silently stealing your rest, not loud mistakes, but quiet, well-meaning choices made at the wrong time. Let me take you through one night seen through 3 different lives. 8:30 p.m. Seattle, Washington. Eleanor leans back into her recliner, a novel in hand, her legs draped in a soft blue throw. A cup of chamomile tea steams gently beside her, but nestled in the cup is something else. A splash of espresso. Just a little, she says, smiling, to help me stay awake for the next chapter. It's a ritual she loves. The taste, the comfort, the quiet. But by 2 a.m. she's wide awake again. Her heart flutters softly in her chest. Her mind replays the same scenes. Did I call my daughter back? Was that bill due yesterday? The latte she enjoyed 6 hours ago is still at work, blocking her adenosine, the sleep molecule. It's not insomnia, it's chemistry, and it's subtle. I thought chamomile would balance it out, she once told me, but now I just stare at the ceiling. Tom swallows his blood pressure pill with a sip of water. He's 72, still strong, still proud. Retired football coach. Wears his old school ring like a badge of service. He doesn't like being told what to do, especially by sleep. At 1:47 a.m. he shuffles down the hallway, again. Second time tonight. His bladder is full, urgent. The hallway is dim and the floor a little cold. He rubs his shoulder as he walks. It's sore from a minor fall last month. The doctors said he was lucky. He says it was just bad luck. But here's what Tom didn't realize. That evening dose of furosemide, a common diuretic, pushes fluid out of his system, right as he's trying to sleep. His kidneys are wide awake, even when he's not. When we first spoke, he said, "Doc, I don't have sleep issues. I have bathroom issues." I told him gently they were the same thing. Susan, 70, finishes a grilled salmon dinner and takes her usual round of vitamins. D3, calcium, B-complex. She's always been careful. After all, she spent 40 years as a nurse. She knows bones weaken with age and vitamin D is essential. But lately her nights have changed. At 3 a.m. her eyes snap open. She feels restless, alert. Not anxious, just awake, as if her body got the wrong message. Vitamin D, when taken late, can increase calcium movement and even stimulate brain activity. Some studies suggest it affects melatonin release. For Susan, it meant being alert in the hours she needed peace most. She told me, "I always thought vitamins helped. I never thought about when I took them." Now step back. Look at the pattern. 3 people, 3 different routines, all doing something right. A warm drink to wind down, a blood pressure med to stay healthy, a supplement to protect their bones. But all 3 experience the same fractured night. Not from poor choices, but from well-intentioned habits that didn't align with their changing biology. And what did those wakeful hours steal? Eleanor stopped joining her daughter's 7 a.m. walks too tired. Tom gave up coaching Little League, afraid of falling in front of the kids. Susan missed her book club 3 weeks in a row, her mind foggy, her joy dimmed. These are the quiet costs of broken sleep. Not just yawns, but missed laughter, lost confidence, and the slow erosion of joy. But here's the beautiful truth. None of them were broken. Their bodies were simply out of rhythm. And with a few small shifts, in timing, awareness, and support, each of them began to reclaim their nights. So before we dive into the solutions, take a moment. Think about your own evening routine, the cup you reach for, The pill bottle on your nightstand, the supplement you trust. Could it be like Eleanor, Tom, or Susan, that your body isn't failing you? It's just asking for a new rhythm. It's tempting to blame the brain when sleep falls apart. I just overthink, we say. My mind won't stop. But more often than not, it's not just your thoughts, it's your chemistry. After 60, your body processes things differently. What once felt harmless, a late coffee, a daily supplement, a nightcap, now speaks louder in your bloodstream, echoing well into the night. Let's start with caffeine. It's not just a jolt, it's a blocker. Caffeine binds to adenosine receptors in your brain. Adenosine is the molecule that builds throughout the day and gently urges your body toward sleep. But when caffeine steps in, that signal is silenced. And here's the catch. Even if you drink your last cup by 2 p.m., caffeine can linger for up to 10 hours in older adults. A 2023 study in sleep medicine found that for seniors, a single cup of coffee after 3 p.m. led to a 20% drop in deep sleep. That's not just tossing and turning. It's the very layer of sleep your brain needs to clean itself, regulate memory, and stabilize mood. Next, medication timing. Many seniors take diuretics like furosemide for blood pressure. But when taken in the evening, these pills don't rest. They tell your kidneys to keep filtering, filling your bladder when your body should be still. The result? Wake-ups. Sometimes 2, sometimes 5. Urology Annals 2023 reports that moving diuretics from evening to morning reduced nighttime wake-ups by 30% in seniors. It's not about avoiding the medicine. It's about aligning it with your sleep cycle. What about vitamins? Vitamin D and B6 are essential, but their effects aren't neutral at all hours. High-dose vitamin D, above 1000 IU, taken with dinner can stimulate calcium activity and neural alertness. B6 in particular plays a role in neurotransmitter production, which can trigger vivid dreams or restlessness when taken too close to bedtime. Susan's story is one I hear often. I thought vitamins were like water, she said, safe at any time. But when she shifted her dose to the morning, her body returned to calm. Now let's talk about light. As we age, our melatonin, the sleep hormone, naturally declines. That makes us more vulnerable to disruptions. Even a brief exposure to screens, overhead lights, or scrolling through a bright phone before bed can suppress melatonin production by up to 50%. This is why evening routines matter. Warm lamps, book reading, eye masks, they aren't old-fashioned. They're biological cues to a body that's forgotten how to wind down. And what about alcohol? For years, many seniors have relied on a small glass of wine to relax. But alcohol, while sedating at first, breaks sleep later in the night, especially REM sleep. It fragments the very stage where emotional healing and memory consolidation occur. What starts as a drowsy descent often ends in a 3 a.m. stare at the ceiling. Then there's cortisol, the stress hormone. Cortisol is meant to rise with the sun and fall with the moon, but chronic stress, loneliness, or unresolved worry reverses that flow. Your body becomes alert at midnight. Your mind spins not with dreams, but with doubts. A 2022 Harvard study showed that social connection, just talking to others or joining a group, reduced insomnia symptoms by 25% in seniors. It's not just chemistry, it's a community. And finally, a silent saboteur, sleep apnea. Many older adults develop this condition without realizing it. You don't always hear the gasping or snoring, but your brain does. Each pause in breath triggers adrenaline, subtly disrupting sleep stages and raising blood pressure over time. If you wake feeling tired after a full night in bed, or your partner notices your breath pausing, this is worth checking. The fix might be as simple as a breathing aid, a sleep study, or even a change in pillow position. One small shift tonight could bring back the sleep you've been missing for years. Eleanor didn't need to give up coffee. She just needed to give it a curfew. We started gently, no caffeine after 2 p.m. that was it. She still enjoyed her morning Starbucks latte with her crossword, but by mid-afternoon she reached for chamomile or ginger tea instead. Within 2 weeks, she stopped seeing 2 a.m. on her clock. "It feels like my body stopped arguing with itself," she told me. "This is the first truth. You don't have to quit what you love, you just have to time it better." Caffeine can linger in the system for up to 10 hours, especially in older adults. Your liver doesn't clear it as fast, and even decaf has enough caffeine to disrupt sleep for sensitive sleepers. The goal isn't restriction, it's rhythm. Tom never thought of timing his medication. Why would he? His doctor prescribed his blood pressure pill with the usual take daily instruction, so Tom took it every night after dinner. But then came the 2 a.m. bathroom trips. Then the 3:30 a.m. tossing and turning. And finally the fatigue that followed him into his mornings. We reviewed his routine. His pill, an ACE inhibitor with a mild diuretic, was increasing urine production at night. Once he shifted it to 8 a.m., something surprising happened. He started sleeping through again. It wasn't the medicine, it was the timing. This is the second truth. What heals by day can disrupt by night. Many seniors take medications, blood pressure drugs, antidepressants, even over-the-counter painkillers, without realizing how their timing affects sleep architecture. Diuretics are especially tricky. Taken too late, they turn your bladder into an alarm clock. Talk to your doctor, not to stop medication, but to adjust it with sleep in mind. Even a simple pill organizer and a phone alarm can make mornings safer and nights more peaceful. Susan thought she was doing everything right. She took her vitamin D religiously right after dinner. She added a B complex for energy and sometimes doubled her calcium just in case. But she started waking at 3 a.m. restless, her thoughts buzzing like a hive. "I felt wired," she said, "but tired at the same time." It turned out her wellness routine was overstimulating her system. Vitamin D, especially at high doses, can influence melatonin production if taken too late. Vitamin B6, taken in the evening, can heighten neural activity. Once we shifted her supplements to breakfast time and reduced the dose to what her doctor actually recommended, her body exhaled. And she finally got through a full REM cycle without waking. The third truth is simple. Not everything that's good for you is good at night. Move your vitamins, especially D, B6, and multis, to the morning. Unless your doctor has advised otherwise, avoid megadoses. And if you're not sure what's helping or hurting, keep a short sleep and supplement log for a week. Your patterns will tell you more than any article can. George never thought his bedroom was the problem, but I did. His room was cluttered with soft blue lights, charging cables, digital clocks, the TV's standby glow. The curtains let in the neighbor's porch lamp. He had a habit of falling asleep to the news, remote in hand. We turned his room into a sanctuary. Blackout curtains, a white noise machine with ocean sounds. The temperature dialed down to 65 degrees F. I gave him a simple ritual: soak his feet in warm water, then practice 4-7-8 breathing. 4 seconds in, 7 hold, 8 out. No screens after 8 p.m., just a paperback and a lamp with warm light. "I sleep like I did in college," he told me, half joking. The fourth truth: your bedroom is not just where you sleep, it's what you sleep in. Light suppresses melatonin. Clutter increases stress. Noise, whether from a ticking clock or city traffic, can fragment your cycles. The answer isn't medication, it's design. Build an environment your body feels safe in, and it will let go. Finally, let's talk about something that rarely makes it into sleep guides: loneliness. I've seen it in every city, from Miami to Portland. A widow sleeps alone for the first time in decades. A grandparent misses daily laughter. A man stops going to poker night because of knee pain. And slowly, isolation creeps in. Cortisol rises. Anxiety hums in the background. And sleep becomes the first casualty. Eleanor joined a Tai Chi class at the local YMCA. Not for the exercise, she said, but for the faces. Tom found a book club through AARP. Susan started journaling for 5 minutes each night just to let her mind settle. These weren't life-changing actions, but they were life-restoring. And that's the fifth truth. Your nervous system doesn't just need rest, it needs reassurance. Talk to someone about your sleep, not as a complaint, but as a question. Reach out to your doctor. Try guided meditations from Calm or Insight Timer. Check community boards at your library or Publix. Connection, quiet, steady connection, is medicine. No single solution works for everyone, but almost every senior I've helped started their transformation with one small shift. Eleanor moved her coffee. Tom changed his pill time. Susan adjusted her vitamins. George rebuilt his bedroom. And together, they each found a night that didn't fight them. So what will your small shift be? Will you swap your afternoon coffee for ginger tea? Ask your doctor if your meds can be taken in the morning. Slide your vitamins to breakfast. Dim the lights and let your mind slow before sleep. Whatever it is, start tonight. Not for perfection, not for control, but for peace. Because peace is what sleep truly is, not escape but return.